What's up, everybody? This is Bam Erickson here with Afterbuzz TV for Power, Season 5, Episode 2, Damage Control. All right, so number 1, I think Diego is sick. Number 2 is a St. Patrick marriage in trouble. And 3 is Tasha and Angela, the new Cagney and Lacey. Let's go. Drop it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, Afterbuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding?
Hey.
Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you.
Keep it going.
And I'm down for you always, KB. Do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me.
You know we'd be jacking this up if we were standing up. Not jacking this up, we would be going off. Hey, 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 hey.
Nah, but
Are we all in our feelings tonight? I think our feelings a little bit.
I'm in my feelings.
Yeah.
You guys gave such a great dance party right now.
I'm
Wow.
saying, you
It's the
know?
Power After Show. What you expect? Come on now.
Oh,
And we want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Bam Erickson.
I'm Jimmy V.
I'm Jill Monroe.
And I'm Robin Ayers.
Okay, so we have some special segments coming up. I got some information I want to drop that I got this weekend from you guys.
Hey.
What do you guys think
Exclusive.
about the episode?
Very, like, it started off high and then,
It was just okay for me. There were moments, but overall I was like, okay, this is a bridge. It's leading us someplace.
Exactly how I feel. I feel like it's still a setup. Like we set, first episode was like setting us up. Second episode is like setting us up some more, but I feel like it's about to make a turn somewhere.
yeah, we saw a lot of mistakes made. We saw
Yeah.
a lot of things, like you said, setting us up for something else.
Yep.
I agree. I did enjoy the episode, but I see where they're going. Like, it's a continual buildup of what's to happen.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I want to let you guys know is we had advertised that Joseph Zakor was supposed to guest today, but what happened, as you see, he's not here. He had a flight delay and he was not able to get here in time. Joseph was coming from the Essence Music Festival in New Orleans.
NOLA.
And so
I saw y'all on his Insta story crowding him in the airport.
What up, Joe?
They calling him Tommy.
Yes,
That's right,
they-
yeah.
I'm sure he gets that all the
they
time.
were fanned out.
Yeah. So, so Joseph, Notori, and Rotimi, they were all promoting Power at the Essence Festival, and he got delayed. But we're working on it, and
It happens.
he's gonna come later this season.
Yes.
So, okay, so we've talked about what we thought about it. So now, speaking of Tommy, so Tommy finds the guy. So he and Sammy find the guy that Tommy ordered to take out Dre. Carmine. So he eventually died, and then there was another guy who was kind of hid out somewhere, and then he eventually died. Sammy tells Tommy that hiring their guys is not how we do things. He's upset. Sammy goes and tells Teresi about it. Teresi calls Tommy to the...
Yes. Wait, super quickly. Did Sammy tell Tommy that's not how we do things because of how it was done, or because Tommy pulled out the gun and it seemed like he was getting ready to cap off
That's
Carmine?
what
I thought it was that. I thought it was, it's a little of both, but in that moment, I thought it was specifically what you're saying, that don't go out and bring more attention to this situation. This isn't how we do it.
Yeah, and the fact that like we are a family in the sense of like we don't just go like off on each other
Capping
just
everybody,
because you mad that it didn't go down like the way that you thought or whatever, you know.
And
Go ahead.
I thought he was trying to make that move to cut off a loose end that needed to be done, but he ultimately died in the end. So
Yeah.
I think that it was both. I think that, number one, Tommy, you're new. Like, you are new into this family, and you don't go out and recruit and tell my people
That's
who
right.
they can and
What?
cannot kill, and then you give them money. Like, you haven't been here long enough to be able to give those orders, and you don't have a title or position. You are just the son of Teresi. So I felt like Tommy was out of pocket, period, because in the very beginning, I think it was last week, he could tell by the way that Tommy was looking at him, and he said something like,
Don't mess with them.
Don't
They're
mess with
crazy.
them. They're crazy.
and he
Something,
still
Yeah.
did. He went behind their back, hoping for it to be good, but obviously
Yeah, here's the
was
thing.
a bad
Tommy, obviously we've seen for 4 whole seasons how Tommy gets down. He does what he wants to do, and usually he's the man where he is. But now I think that what they call them, the Italians. He calls them the Italians. But he is about to find out that it doesn't work that way, and I think in more ways than one, he's going to find that out. So I'm excited to see this whole thing unfold with this side of the family and the Italians.
So then, speaking of that, so Teresi warned Tommy that you're gonna fix this, and Teresi seems pretty pissed. So although that's his son, I mean, how many?
He doesn't know him.
I mean, listen though, that's his name that he's built up. He's in jail to protect his name because he'd have snitched if not. And Tommy's over here, boom, boom, messing up his name. So it's like all the work he's done is now getting thrown out of the door.
So do you think that Teresi will put aside that he was so anxious to, be the dad and Okay, so let me just. So in return for Tommy's mess up, he apologizes to Vince and Sammy, and in return, Tommy has to take a 50% cut on all profits and pay restitution on these kids' families. Okay, now last time I checked, Tommy isn't sitting on millions of dollars. Plus, he still owes $2 million to Jason. So
Tommy's gonna die this season.
I feel like it's. I hate to say that because y'all know how I feel about
yes,
Tommy.
We do.
You know how I feel about Tommy.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's coming. I feel like he's crossed the wrong one or will cross the wrong one because he's just getting
over
tied
his
up.
head. Everybody's like, it's this way, it's that way. It's too many people out there that are looking at him and have a target on him.
Really, too, if you take out the street book library here, if you kill someone of my team, it's only right I do the same to you. So I think he was so quick to say, oh yeah, that's fine, because I think he understood that, okay, I'm about to die because I'm the reason 2 of their people died. So
and wasn't one of them a godson or something?
I don't know if Tommy thinks that he's ready to die, but I think Tommy always thinks that he could fix everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do believe, though, that, well, first of all, did you guys see, I don't know if you caught this, but when Tommy went to go visit Teresi, at the very end of their conversation, when Teresi said, you should have talked to me about this first, Tommy almost looked like a little kid in that moment. He kind of he just got into this little kid mode. It was sort of, that was a little ironic, but because Teresi's name is so thick in the streets, I feel like, all this time, Tommy has only had ghosts looking out for him. Now he's got the backing of Teresi. And so he might die. I mean, he might die, but I just feel like it's going to be an interesting, he's going to last all the way into the end of the season at least because Teresi's got his back now.
And then speaking of Teresi, so later, John Mock and Cooper tell Tamika that Teresi is Tommy's son and informs him that Tommy's been visiting him lately. And Tamika then says, why now? And then it ends. So
they're going to be digging into that. Yeah. Obviously, it's going to come up that Ghost was in prison with Teresi, or James was in prison with him. So they're just swimming around the fishbowl. I know we're probably going to get to it, but I thought it ironic that what are the 2 came and laid out the crime to Mock, and he was like, nah, that's not how it happened. That doesn't even make any sense when they talked about, what was it, the first episode with the chick that overheard.
Right. Yeah. Forget her name, but yeah.
So now let's go to Ghost Tommy and Kanan.
Uneasy alliance. Kanan obviously is not to be trusted.
Obviously.
So after the Jimenez stole and killed Jason's set up and took his $2 million worth of drugs, now he makes all 3 join forces to kill Jimenez and to get his $2 million back.
Do we think it odd that Kanan, who usually has a lot to say,
was very quiet?
Yeah, when Jason was like, and who are you? And he didn't have anything to say. Like, he didn't buck up. He didn't do anything. He just kind of let him.
Yeah.
I think that's odd as well.
I was having an interesting conversation about the whole season so far, and a few of my friends have said Kanan's taking more of the back seat. I'm not the big tough guy anymore. I'm kind of standing in line, and that's what we're actually seeing.
But it might be a strategic thing on his
Which
part
to get all the information.
Yeah,
Which you see now.
because he has to get back in the good graces of Ghost and Tommy.
He does.
And I think that he has to let them think that they're running things, and he's kind of got to take a little backseat to that right now.
Real quick too, if I can shout out this line said by Jason. I don't know what getting my money or killing you. I don't know what would be better. And I thought that was a very important line to his character because it just shows how stern that if I don't have it my way, I'm gonna get something out of it. So
I think Kanan reminds me a little bit of Nino Brown in the sense, I'm sorry, Ice-T, in the sense of, what was Ice-T's character in New Jack City?
the cop, the undercover cop.
But he's playing his cards. He's being very strategic. Notice how when the Mercedes SUV pulled up, Kanan had his gun. He was ready to go.
Big ass gun too, might I add.
He was ready to go. So he's showing his loyalty like Ice-T did to Nino Brown in New Jack City.
Right.
Okay.
But then also he's playing his cards. He's playing his cards very strategically, which I think is smart because he can go AWOL because I think he knows Ghost is watching him.
And that's what we call a snake in the grass.
And last thing that I'm going to say about that is, two things. Don't trip. I mean, it may have been a loyalty call, but they also rolled up on him too. So like, they got their gun out.
You're right.
I'm looking out for me.
You're right.
Finger deep.
Also, there had to have been another reason for them to all get back in bed together. It can't be just Dre. That cannot be the underlying theme that's just going to keep you guys rolling throughout the whole rest of the season.
And then I think that's why they specifically had Jason say, "Oh, okay, so you three are all in this now." Just to actually make it clear to everyone that everyone's in this.
Yeah.
And what I find interesting in it is so they all are forced to work together. Obviously they want to take down Dre, but then they all have their own little personal alliances with each other. So Ghost is watching Kanan as well as Tasha is watching Kanan. Tommy's watching Kanan, and then Kanan is out to take Tommy out because he says to his two-man crew, to get in good with Jason and the Serbians and then take over Tommy's organization. I just don't think that Kanan has the manpower to do it. Like, no.
His crew is stick-up kids.
Yeah.
They're not ready to take over
and
the
shout out to
young
them
boys.
because I chatted with one this weekend. They little dudes.
Yeah, and
they
I just don't think that Kanan has the manpower that he once did before he went to jail. He came out of jail, and it's like you might know a couple people, a couple big dogs, but like a few of them shot, killed, like brains, and all of them they're gone. So it's like who else to do that job anymore?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's still a fan of Ghost because inside of the car he said, "I never seen a young buck that could hold their own like you." So he was like upping them, giving them props.
Yeah, and I think also just last thing before we move to Dre, Crystal Ball, and the other and the goons, I also think that because he is so guilty for what has transpired, he probably does need to kind of cool it.
Yeah.
He needs to cool it now. Like
He did put him in the game, and he did. If it wasn't for Kanan.
Okay, so Dre, Crystal Ball, 2-Bit, aka Francis, and Spanky.
Francis.
Right. So.
Why you gotta call him by his government name?
Because it's so funny. The ones who are so hood always have kind of like the unisex names.
Right.
Suge Knight, his real name is Marion. So I just find it interesting that he calls himself 2-Bit, but his legal name is Francis.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always the young and fearless because they want to get on that take out the old regime.
It's because they want to show that they are about that life, and they make a move that messes everything up.
2-Bit was anxious, just
Okay.
ready.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so 2-Bit says that Callahan is dead, and so someone needs to move his product. So Crystal Ball comes and says that Lorenzo, the number 2 with the Turtles, is beefing with Uriel's cousin Arturo, and that they need to replace the number 2. Dre says to put Arturo as number 2 because he's young and he's easy to control. 2-Bit, aka Francis, he initiates the plan, and you can obviously tell that Cristobal does not like that because number one, Cristobal wanted to have the conversation with Dre
and not with Two-Bit.
Yeah.
I thought that was sloppy on Dre's part. Like, I got what he was trying to do, but I think it's like it's too soon and you're too hot to be trying to bring this person up under you at this time on the strategic details. You inform them later. You don't let them right in at the top.
Yeah, I have a problem. The problem is for Dre to be considered or thinking that he's the next Ghost.
I'm so
Ghost
mad.
took so many
You stole
years
my
to
thunder.
build up what he did. He knew how to play his cards. He knew when to be level-headed. He also knew when to be gangsta. And Dre, I felt like in a year or less, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you calling these shots? And he's almost the darker side of Ghost. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily know that I like the calls that he's making, and ultimately when he wound up, you know, skipping the part real quick where they shot old boy is Lorenzo. When he fired Two-Bit, basically how Two-Bit he was like, yo, like you wasn't nothing like when we first met, so now you think that you above everybody or whatever, and it shows like he's saying what we're thinking, like
He's
you know
feeling
how
himself.
yeah, he's totally feeling himself, and that might be a big mistake.
Well, Dre is feeling himself, but I don't want to come off like I'm some bitter person, but people always say that, you know, the young or the millennials, you know, they don't work hard enough. They don't, you know, they just the insta famous. Dre is young and Ghost is old school. So of course Dre is going to think that he can
Circumvent and take it over.
But
and
I
just
don't,
take it
I
over.
don't feel like that though. I'm sorry, just super quick. I actually feel like he thinks that he has worked hard. He has put in the work, so he feels like entitled to do everything that he's doing right now. Not like
what a lot of them think though.
But no, a lot of them actually don't do the work. I think that Dre, he's been in the cut for a little minute, and he's been working, so he feels now like, okay, I built this. This is me. I'm taking over now, and he deserves it.
Okay.
You know?
I just want to say, so based on that scene where Cristobal and Two-Bit were speaking with Dre, it showed the lack of leadership that Dre has.
Absolutely.
Because he was talking, and then Two-Bit said, oh, we should do this, and he's like, you know what? Okay, fine, yeah. And then Cristobal says, well, we should do this. He's like, you know what? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So that shows he's still trying to figure out. He doesn't know the exact moves. Secondly, when he said, you work for me, Francis, I have to defend Dre at this point because that was a move that he needed to do.
Very true.
Two-Bit messed up.
Yeah.
You slipped up.
Yeah.
I need to take you out the game.
Yeah, he did only have one
Two-Bit
job.
was like, oh, you think you all this now, blah, blah, blah. No, you slipped up. I got to move you now. So
And just for the record, Two-Bit and Spanky, while they're driving down some random street,
Right.
they see Lorenzo and just shoot him dead in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know
And
if there are any cameras around that
Right,
can
so sloppy.
Yeah, I do have to make
a
a point to what Jimmy just said that I kind of disagree with, because you said that Dre is taking kind of like advice from other people or whatever, and I hear that. That's a very valid point. But we just saw in the same episode that Ghost took information that Tommy suggested. Remember, Tommy was like, "We need to use the Italians," and then he was like,
Oh, true.
That is the move." Like, so I do feel like.
But I feel like that's different only because there was a problem a couple seasons ago where Ghost didn't like that, but he understands that Tommy has earned his way to be able to make decisions. In this situation, I don't feel that Two-Bit has earned that decision. I think that
I agree
that's
with that.
Right.
I think
I
that that's
agree
two
with that.
homies.
Just got there.
I think that that's two homies who are going back and forth with each other, and Two-Bit doesn't understand the
dynamic.
the
But
dynamic.
here's the thing. But what
organization.
Two-Bit said wasn't wrong. He had the thing is, Dre hadn't formulated his plan. That's why it's kind of shady because he wasn't wrong in saying, okay, if you take the young one, he's going to be ambitious and he doesn't know stuff, so you can manipulate him to your will. That's very true. If you take the other one, he's already going to have a plan in mind,
Right.
and he could have a direction, which could be a benefit to you. But it all depends on what your plan is
depends
from
on
this
how you
association.
do it.
And I don't think Dre has worked that far ahead because he's making these moves, but he hasn't really thought about his organization down the road and how he's going to handle all of this.
You been in the street game?
Yeah.
What you been doing out here? Huh? Hey, okay, Joe.
Do you think that
Business is business.
I gets it done.
Do you think he sided with 2-Bit just to spite Crystal Ball?
No, I think that 2-Bit brought up a valid point that the younger one could be manipulated and controlled, and I think that is very important to Dre being able to maintain control, because part of the problem he had when he was, trying to take Tommy out from under him was he was slipping information to this person, and he needs an alliance. He can't move ahead without these connections, so he needs people to move around the chessboard to get done what he needs to be done. And if someone is established, they could try and, just like we said about Ghost, you've only been in this game for a minute. What do you know? And I don't think that Dre is trying to have that conversation with the Connect.
I do think it's a little twofold, though. I agree with you, Jill. I think it's twofold, though. I think that because Dre is trying to make it clear that he's the man, he's the boss. So even when Cristobal came in there and he told 2-Bit if he could get a couple minutes, and he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay right here." And then Dre was like, "Yeah, he good." And then so like it's almost like asserting yourself, like, "Yeah, no, I said what I said," And then when 2-Bit was offering his advice, and then Cristobal said that I don't think that's the move, and he was like, "But that's the move that I'm making." So he is trying to like push back a little bit. He is a little bit 2-Bit. 2-Bit had some information. He did have some. That was a good, perspective. The piece of advice that he gave, but I do think that Dre is kind of like bucking up a little bit.
So 3 questions before we move on to the next topic. So, I think there's more to come for 2-Bit because the way that he walked out.
Yeah, like vengeance. Like he.
Yes. But I think it's to say there's more to come for Dre than it is more to come for 2-Bit.
He could.
So then, what's your take on Cristobal? So now Cristobal got the position, but Cristobal's
watching. He's watching the game.
He's watching. So do you think that he is going to take Spanky and 2-Bit and form alliances? Because it seemed like everyone's forming alliances. So because like Cristobal is not. I think
Cristobal is trying to figure out what the play is going to be. I think he knows like this isn't sturdy, but I'm gonna ride it out. But I'm watching. Like I don't think he is, making plans to link up with anybody yet. I think his trust in Dre is starting to diminish.
Yeah,
Yes,
maybe.
like
but I do
every
have
move
my
that he
own
makes.
thoughts that I guess I would leave for predictions on who's going to join an alliance.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the final thing is, what are your thoughts on Diego wanting Dre to have sex with this girl?
Listen,
Well,
now.
let's go back to
Listen,
the-
hold on. Wait.
Give it up for Bro Timmy for he finally got some, y'all. He finally got some. Congratulations.
Reluctant, no condom.
Didn't
Right,
want
yo.
it.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, where's the Jimmy if you're going to actually do it? Like,
No pun
geez.
intended. Listen. No, listen. Didn't he just watch Diego hit the
Yes.
same
The
girl?
same one?
Come on, man.
And it's like,
Come
I
on,
want
son.
you to-
You from
Man,
New York. You're
I'm-
supposed to know what's up.
I'm saying. That was crazy.
I don't know. That was, I don't know.
I was thinking, look, I'm a little freaky myself, but I don't know if I'm going to go do that on command.
First, you want him
Like,
to watch you hitting both the chicks, and then you want to watch him hitting your chick.
Yeah.
It's something.
It's
strange
something
about
else.
A
Diego.
little strange.
Something's
It's
going
something
on.
else.
Diego, I don't know, man.
And was real severe, and the chick was like, "Yeah, he's gonna smell my naughty bits."
What?
So
Yeah, that was even
let's
a
get it cracking.
little
And if it
extra.
ain't wet, then you got a
I
problem.
was just
You
like,
win.
I was like, where are we going with it? Because we're going somewhere.
But see, also,
never heard that,
But
but
see, also remember, who was the first drug distributors from seasons ago? Because he was crazy too.
Milan.
No,
Lobos.
Lobos
Okay.
was crazy
he was
too.
crazy
Lobo,
too.
He was like,
such a good character.
and a lot of times,
man,
a lot of times, these people in powerful positions, they do the most freaky shit.
Listen,
Yeah,
when
because they
you
can.
are the
Yeah.
plug,
Yeah.
you can. Okay.
Yeah, they got
that
the
was
money,
good.
they got the power.
That was
But
good.
still,
Yeah.
like I get that. But they're like those two scenes tied so closely together. There is a bigger purpose coming for that. That's not just, hey, I want to show you how I can flex. There is something about that is going to down the line mean something.
the first scene, I thought he was gonna ask Dre to join in because there wasn't another girl there. I thought he was.
No, there
gonna
was
be
two.
like, hey.
There was two girls.
Yeah, she was on the ground.
She's
She
on the
was
ground,
like,
yeah.
"It's my turn
Like,
now."
no.
What was she doing back there?
She was
Pushing.
Was she eating the groceries?
Yeah, that's
Wasn't
what I
that
thought.
what
Oh,
she
so it was groceries. It was
Yeah,
flashy
and then
enhancing.
from the top, he was doing that.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
Power
I
lit.
know, they got some whole interesting. But I thought it was just interesting that Diego made him. He said now.
Yeah.
So what was that about? What was that?
That's a power thing because remember, I was gonna say with Timmy, Dre really holds no power. He's in the middle. So you have Alicia and Diego who's running things, and then they're watching down as Dre. They're watching down below on Dre to make sure that he's doing everything. So Dre is not really the boss. You know what I'm saying? So he's being watched. He's being forced to do things. So this is all this. I can't say what I want to say, but this is a power thing that he wants to do just to see how far he can go and what he can do to Dre.
You know, it's just interesting how everybody's got to pay the price in order to have some power. You know, everybody got to pay the price, and so it's never what we really think it is.
Listen, especially out here in Hollywood, I be hearing all different types of stuff. So listen,
I knew you was gonna go there.
Man.
I knew you was gonna go there.
how much is your soul worth? No, go ahead.
You hit it, Tasha.
All right, let's talk next.
Let's talk Tasha, Ghost, and Councilman Tate.
Yes. So Tate is walking a thin line, really. Just the scene where once again he brought up the idea of the press conference for the QCP cause, which is of course for Raina's legacy. And at first he had asked James at this point to attend, and he was like, I'll ask Tasha. Tasha said no. But then he set them up saying, oh, there's a whole nother event I want you guys to attend. As they were walking in, he was like, look who's here. Why don't you guys come on up and say a few words? And that obviously crossed the line.
Yeah, I mean, talk about manipulative, scandalous, grimy, in a suit. He's grimy in a suit. And that's the worst kind.
Yes.
So the problem is, I had a question super quickly. Was Tate? It was Ghost who first mentioned that they were gonna build for in Raina's
Raina's name.
Yeah.
So you see how Tate keeps using that.
He's riding it.
He's riding it as though it's his idea, and he is all about the money. He is all about the money and the perception of power, but he is trying to make it seem now that he's got like a little tightrope on Raina. He feels like he keeps utilizing that, and I can't understand why Ghost won't wake up. Why he won't understand like he's being played.
Well, I think because. Go ahead.
Well, I'm probably going to say something similar to what you're going to say.
I think that when you last week, Robin, when you were saying the difference between Ghost and James, James is like, he's like MIT / a drug, like a hood dude. Like he's a mix of he knows the streets. He's very educated, and he probably has a super IQ. He never likes to throw his cards all at the table at one time. So Tate has basically pushed up on him. He's made all these things that he's making him do, and so Ghost is going to follow along until it's time for him to stop wanting to play the game. So it's only a matter of time before Ghost will say, okay, enough. Like he's slowly going there. So like he went off about having Tasha and them speak at the mixer. So Ghost's patience is slowly starting to become
I don't know,
very
Ben.
thin. No,
I don't
no.
agree
Okay.
because he did try to give him a little bit of his mind at the mixer or the real press conference.
Yeah.
But the way that Tate just kind of overtalked him and was just like, trust me, and I'll let you know when the QBC numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever
Forget the numbers.
Exactly. And then Ghost is just like, all right, kind of like lets it do his thing.
And I thought this was a important quick scene. It showed Tate running for governor, and he was choosing his picture. You guys remember that? Unless I forgot something, that's the first time I saw that he's actually.
Well, that's his why. That's why he's trying to get all of this together.
And last thing that I'll say, is I believe Tasha did such a great job. Notori, she did such a great job in that scene when she had to speak about Raina. We've seen her be emotional. We've seen her be calculated. We've seen her be G. You know, all of these things. But she brought that certified acting in. She's a certified actress anyway. But I'm saying she got really. It was very believable, and I just think that she did such a great job.
The last thing that I'll say with this Councilman Tate and Tasha and Ghost situation. I don't care about the storyline. There's something that is not registering with me about the storyline. I just don't like it. This whole thing about Raina's murder, there was no video of the murder. Why do people care? I don't care. So who cares? I don't care.
And I do have a prediction regarding that situation. I just wanted to say that so nobody lets me forget.
Okay.
All right.
Live read?
We've got a live read.
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. So we're asking that you guys please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzzers continue to grow, and we need all of that. All right. So if you're worried about pesky notifications, you guys don't be, because it's completely optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, this one. All right. This one. Somebody say this one.
This one. That power is on. This one.
That's
AfterBuzz
right.
drama.
That's right. And check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know what you did in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. You guys hear that? We're going to thank them on air. So we thank you for being our best fans and for helping us to be the ESPN of TV talk. So thank you, AfterBuzzers.
Shout out to you guys.
Okay, so Tasha Ghost, I think this marriage is doomed. Statistically, marriages end when a child dies. So we see Tasha mourning in Raina's room, and she can't leave, and Ghost can't go in the room. So
what a great line.
I just have a couple of questions.
It was a great line.
Yeah.
It was.
It made me think.
It actually, it entailed, I think, a lot more than just that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, last week, Ghost had his moments.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Ghost had his moment in the shower. Tasha, she's having her moment. Who's right? Tasha needing counseling, or Ghost saying that they need to keep quiet because they're not the average family? What is you guys' take on this situation before I go in?
Tasha needs some place to release.
Yes.
She's a mother who lost her daughter. You even see when she was talking to Tariq, and Tariq was like, it's, I know you guys blame me. She never said to him, it's not your fault. She still comforted him as a parent. It must, be painful because you lost your child because of your other child, but it's still your child. And I think that she needs to be able to talk to someone. And we see how Ghost is dealing with it. He's an alcoholic vigilante. But we'll get to that.
It's very unfair how he's handling her. I mean, from blaming her, literally talking about she didn't watch her kids, to not allowing her to speak. He's not doing the best job as a husband
and trying to open up to Angela. Like, come on, man.
Okay, so
come on.
You went right in
Talk
there.
about it, Bam. Go ahead, Bam.
That was a question that I posed, but let's also remember, Tasha and Ghost, they're not together. Last season, they were pretending to be married because he was in jail. So technically, it makes sense that he is trying to reach out to Angela because they were in a relationship before.
It doesn't make sense. Come on now.
Angela is not Raina's mother.
Go ahead.
Angela is not experienced. While Angela can sympathize and have empathy, Angela did not lose a child. This is the child, your child, together. Doesn't matter if you guys aren't together anymore. This is your child. And I get that you may want to talk to Angela about some things, but to completely shut out the mother of the child that passed away, and you're still dealing with the repercussions from the other child, is not only unfair and selfish, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Because Angela cannot give you the empathy that you were looking for, the hole that you were trying to fill, obviously, with this new alcoholic habit and the other things that you picked up. I know that he was affected in the meeting at the church as well, listening to those people. Well, obviously but I know that it was a therapeutic thing for him in a way, too. And that's why you're in there with Tasha, because there's a pain that no one else is experiencing from this moment outside of you two.
I completely agree. Can I just super
Well,
quickly
she
before I forget the point?
took
She
everything,
did. She's
so
not
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Jill snatched.
You good, girl. You Gucci.
I think like that was just
You
like
Gucci. Okay, I want to make this point, and please, Lord, don't let me forget. Okay, I think Ghost is trying to compensate, I think is the word, or I don't know if it's compensate, but he's trying to make up for several different things that he's been missing. So he didn't get the correct closure with Angela, and I feel like I do want to punch him in the throat, because him trying to go after Angie, like talk to her, and I'm like, she just put you through everything. Like, you just went to jail. All kinds of stuff happened because of her. So that's number one. But also with the business side, remember, there's something that he wanted to complete with the clubs that is now taken away from him. So I think he is trying to not compensate. I don't think that's the word. You guys help me out if you know it.
Overcompensate?
No, I don't even know if that's the word, but he's trying to get something from what he wasn't able to get with the club. So he's trying to get something with Angela that he wasn't able to get closure at first. So he's trying to get something from her. With the club, he now has Tate. Okay, like that whole business aspect, he's trying to get something from that, and I think that he's succumbing to it because he wasn't able to get that from the club. And there's one more, but I forgot. So y'all go ahead.
I think the reason that this is a mess is because they're both blaming each other for this happening, and that's why I said that this marriage is doomed, because most marriages do end when a child dies, because the communication breaks off, because it's why, and it's painful. So that's why I was defending, saying it makes sense why he's going to go to Angela, because technically they're not, they haven't been married for 2 seasons.
Okay. Meanwhile, Angela is doing a whole lot of work at the desk. You guys realize that she's on?
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're gonna go to that. So, another question is, another thing that I just want to say is, I think that if the two of them could just sit down and talk and have conversation, all of this would help a lot. If they would sit down and tell Tariq everything that needs to be said.
You keep saying everything. I don't see. My thing with that is, well, go ahead.
The reason that I believe that Tariq needs to know everything is because Tariq is eavesdropping and he's formulating his own plan, which I think he's the person that people are gonna forget about, and I think he's gonna kill Dre. Me personally, I think
that Tariq is gonna kill.
I think Tariq will kill Dre, but I think because he's not being told information a certain way, he's planning his own way, which is why certain things are going over his head, and he's going to figure things out his own way. So they as a family need to
But he's still not being completely honest with them.
Right, but if the parents be honest with the child first, I think, listen, the boy didn't already kill somebody.
I know, but I'm saying, why tell? Well, listen, we're drug dealers. I think he knows that. He read some of that. I just feel like at this point, laying out the operation isn't going to help him internalize why A, B, and C were trying to take you out and weren't really your friends. It's a different conversation that needs to happen.
But see, I think it does, because with Angela and Tasha now becoming Cagney and Lacey, if it's revealed that Tariq was involved with Big Country, the trio, Tariq is going to jail. Like,
but I mean, the thing is, there's still a lot of things. Tasha, once again, as Angela is sitting there, she doesn't know, worried about who knows about Tariq. Everybody's forgetting about Destiny. Tommy's forgetting about Destiny because they know that Tariq got some from somebody. They completely forgot about that. Tariq is not speaking up about that. And remember, the mystery detective, who I agree with Robin, after I was thinking about it much more, she probably knows Angela or something. She has some connection to it. Yeah. She saw her card at Ray Ray's Destiny's house. So I feel like you asked Michael last week about Destiny, if she's going to show back up. I think Destiny is going to figure in somewhere very big. And I don't think that telling them about it will...
So super quickly, because I know there's still more to talk about, guys. So I wanted to mention Angela, because Angela is between Angela and Tasha, and you called them the
Cagney and Lacey.
They're best friends right now.
Yeah. So
gotta be.
Let's talk about the fact that, because last week we were trying to figure out who she logged in under, and that was D Gaines, and we know now that Daryl is that D is Daryl, the IT guy, and so that he basically had his password changed, and she probably did that low key, right? So the fact that he's an IT guy, I'm sure that he knows much more than what Angela does.
What
in
computer
her profession.
it came from.
Yeah. So how do you think that that's going to play out?
So I know Jill and I, we've worked for people in high positions, and I know passwords. I have to look at their computers when they're not around. There's so much information that Daryl knows, and he's already messy anyway. Because you see how he threw that whole thing about something about, well, I'm so glad that you're not with St. James anymore. So there's no telling what's going to happen with this nosy assistant.
And remember, she walked out and left the computer on. She just turned this monitor off and not the whole thing. So problems. And can we talk about Proctor really fast before we go?
So
my man Proctor.
Go ahead.
Proctor has a history and a backstory, and Proctor's not as innocent as we have previously thought.
Yeah.
We learned in the hearing that he's been up for suspension before for some unscrupulous things, and I think that Proctor is a lot more slick than have previously given him credit for. And him holding on to that laptop, he did it for insurance, but I think he also knows what to do with things.
So speaking of John Mock and Proctor and Silver, so he has the committee.
Silver's a bitch.
He has the committee trial for conflict of interest going.
So mad. Sorry, Brandon. We love
Proctor
you.
is on a committee trial for the conflict of interest during the trial of St. James Patrick. So John Mock offers to withdraw the bar case if he offers information to his clients, obviously about ghosts. He didn't want to do that, so then he goes to Silver, and then Silver comes and testifies, and he's just one question. What are your thoughts on Silver testifying against Proctor when Silver is saying you've never compromised yourself?
That was
Silver's a
absolutely-
bitch because he did
That's
exactly
why I said,
what he
because
said. Yeah,
you did that. It's like, are you forgetting about your relationship
Exactly.
with Tasha? I
Exactly.
think so,
Yeah.
but okay.
And then the final thing that I just want to skim over really quick. So with the task force with John Mock, Cooper Sachs, Tamika, Donovan, and Angela, the Maria Suarez. So at first last week I didn't care because she's blindfolded, but now they're gonna go after her fiance, who is the name of Miguel Alvarez. So they're gonna go after his murder, and if they could figure out who murdered Miguel, they're gonna hope to try and take down Ghost, being that that Donovan figured out that at the club that there's like a
the shipping thing,
port.
which was like the first.
That was the first
That was
episode.
the first
yeah.
episode. So I thought it all came back around. There's legit no loose ends that the writers are like leaving open.
Yeah, and so it just seems that everybody's out for Angela. You have Cooper Sachs, you have John. Everyone is out.
And speaking of Sachs, when he wrote on the napkin, "Okay, bitch," wasn't that hilarious?
But he's such a great. He's got these little subtle, funny moves that he does all the time. That it's just classic him.
Which to shout out to Sachs because he did stop by Afterbuzz. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
So just what's your take before we go into the news? What is you guys' take on everyone seems to be coming at Angela? So you got although she's doing her job,
Angela's gotten really sloppy, and I don't know if it's because she got comfortable with getting away with things, but she's acting very, very sloppy to me. I'm like, how do you think you're not going to get caught? You're going to get caught up so quickly because you're not thinking it through.
I think it's because she got that promotion, so she's thinking nobody can touch me now.
I don't know if it's that, but there's parts where she's still on top of it. So she's been able to figure out the thing with Alicia and carrying the baby from last season. So she's been able to figure out part of the Jimenez or cartel. She's a little over her head to think that she can get to Alicia because she's a woman.
Right.
She's over her head for that. So there's parts where she's doing her job. So she's been able to figure out part of that information, which is her job. But then the other part is they're all watching her and they're all coming after her for so many things.
Yes.
She's
That's
only
why
human.
I feel like she's like, you think they forgot about Ghost, I just think that she's too comfortable.
I think that she's gonna find an ally in Donovan. I think Donovan is the one who wants to look out for her. I think that he is the one who, remember how he was like, y'all wanted me to keep this a secret from Angela because of whatever.
Because she stopped him from being killed last season, if you think about
That's
it.
what and I think it's going to be based on that, like a loyalty kind of thing. So she's got to remember, so Courtney had an interview super quickly, and I know we got to wrap up, but Courtney had she was doing an interview where she talked about, as writers, what they try to do is give us some and then take away. And then give us some and take away. So with Angela, it looks like, you know, everybody is coming at her and we're taking away, but I think they're going to give us some by giving her an ally in the office, and I think that's going to be him.
And speaking of Donovan, so now I want to go into just a little news and some gossip. So last night I attended
TV News.
the character of Donovan. His real name is Ty Jones. So last night I was in New York and I attended the opening
Baller.
I attended the opening of his new play that his theater company, his theater company is called the Classical Theater of Harlem. So he put on this play called Antagony. And so it runs from July 7th through the 29th on Tuesdays through Sundays, 8:30 p.m. It's free at the Richard Rogers Amphitheater inside the Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem. So for more information, you guys can go to the social media, which is at Classic Harlem, or you guys can go to the website at cthnyc.org. But the play is fantastic. Ty is a fantastic actor, and it's a really good spin on classic writing. So
That's
thank
great.
you to Ty. Also, last night there were some fans who watch us.
What?
Yes, so I want to give them shout out. So they came up to me and was like, "Are you Bam?"
Oh,
Because they know that we shoot here in LA.
It's not
Yeah.
Bam, it's Pay Pablo, but okay.
Petty Pablo, you're right. So I want to give out a shout out to a couple of the ladies. So one, her name is Liz, and her name is Liz at social media. She's uniquely chic at 7. And then the other young lady, I cannot pronounce her name, but the spelling of her name is PSACOYA. And that's also her social media, so you can follow her at PSACOYA.
Hey, girl. Hey.
So
Hey,
thank you
y'all.
guys for recognizing
you.
us and saying that you watched the show.
definitely.
Super dope.
And I
I've
think
got a
that's
shout out as well, buddy.
ahead.
Oh no, I'm just a huge fan of hard work pays off. So shout out to Jacob Bergerter. This is his tag name on Instagram, Jacob Bergerter actor. He got a speaking line on this specific episode, and I first noticed him on Instagram skits and everything, and then he started to actually do skits involving power, and now 50 Cent actually repost his skits on his page.
Very
okay.
So I'm just saying, hard work pays on.
Yeah.
Keep off grinding. Never know who may see your
Great
work,
job.
and now he's got on the episode. So
And
shout out to
and
him.
I also met this weekend another actor who played the cousin. He played Tariq's cousin, and he was carrying the casket. His name is Jay Rain, the legend, on Instagram. But he's in power too. So
Nice.
that's
Well,
really
Shout
good.
thank you
out.
guys, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for checking us out.
Super quickly, can we get into some predictions,
Absolutely,
y'all?
Yes.
let's go.
Your Afterbuzz TV prediction.
My predictions are
Robin.
I feel like at the funeral when Tate, when he was getting buck with Tommy and he was like, you can't sit in the first couple of rows, whatever. I rewatched the episode, so I specifically have a prediction that Tommy said, today ain't the day. When he gave James the hug, he was like, all right, it's all good. Today ain't the day. And he kind of looked like to the shoulder. So I think that Tommy
gonna
is going
check
to
him.
come for Tate somehow. That's going to play out. I do believe that Two-Bit.
Two-Bit.
Sorry.
Shout out.
Francis.
Shout out.
Yes. Yeah, Francis. I do believe that he might flip sides to join forces with Ghost in them. He might, because remember Ghost said that they need some more soldiers.
Yeah.
So that might happen. And then I also believe that Tasha's mom, remember she saw Tasha and Victor kissing, so that might lead to a little bit of like telling Ghost or somehow get it, because they have to get found out. Their story has to get found out somehow, so that might come through moms. So I'm done.
I predict Tariq will not be going to choke.
Whoa.
Even though we skipped over that whole thing, but yeah, he not going nowhere.
I think that Proctor is going to get more deeply involved. I think we're going to see the dark side of Proctor come out. I also think that this little alliance between Tasha and Angela is going to go a little bit deeper, and Ghost is going to find out and is going to be very uncomfortable and a little bit jealous. And I hope that we move away from this vigilante ghost thing quickly. That's not a prediction. That's just a hope.
Yes, because we did forget to mention that the episode
bodied
ended
the dude.
with. But that was my last thing when I said that he was trying to get something from, because he couldn't take care, he couldn't protect his own daughter. I think he was trying to get.
Now he's vigilante,
yeah.
and I'm not
He's
trying
Luke
to
Cage.
see
Good point. Yeah.
Luke Cage. What's the thing from the 70s that they're remaking that movie?
Superfly.
Oh yeah.
Not that one, but one of those.
okay.
Yeah, one of those. Okay.
What's yours?
Tariq's not going
Going
to
to
choke.
choke.
Okay. My prediction, one of the predictions that I mentioned earlier is, while everyone is expecting between Kanan, Tommy, and Ghost to take care of Dre, Tariq, because no one is telling him the full get down of things, Tariq is already planning. He sat in and he was listening to Keisha and Tommy, which we didn't mention Keisha, but you know.
Keisha,
it's
I don't care about Keisha and Tommy. I want to move past that.
Okay, well, Tariq was listening in on the conversation.
Yep.
And so Tariq he's listening. That's all he's doing is he's listening. And because he's a child who thinks he knows everything, he's going to take matters into his own hands because he thinks that this is his fault. And I think that he is going to continue once he realizes that Tariq actually sent him to Raymond to be killed. Is going to dawn on him, and I think that Tariq will kill Dre.
Well, my last prediction is that you guys are going to tune in. You guys are going to give us your thumbs up and your 5 stars on YouTube.
they are.
You can
Yeah, they
find
are.
us on iTunes and all of the above. So you guys continue to talk with us, give us your opinions, and we will do some more shout outs next week.
Oh, and did you guys see our skit that we did with Michael Rainey Jr.
Yes,
last week?
go check that
If you
out.
didn't, go check the Afterbuzz page. They actually posted it as well. So shout out to Afterbuzz or our individual Instagram page.
Yes. So
And my other prediction is I think that Tommy is going to take out Councilman Tate. All right, so now let's
we right.
Let's say your goodbyes. Give your social media
All right,
handles.
you guys, listen. Yeah, we need that music. We need that cue. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. My name is Robin Ayers. You know, you guys can find me on all of my social media platforms at Robin Ayers. That's where you find me.
I'm Jill Monroe. Hit me up everywhere at Stiletto Jill, including YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Facebook, I think, Instagram. You know the main ones.
Hey, it is Jimmy V, and I'm on Instagram, the Jimmy V.
And you can find me on all social media at Bam Erickson. Again, we want to thank everyone that is watching and listening. Thank you to all the people because you just never know who's watching and listening. So thank you to all of you guys. Service is a little bad here, so it's really difficult for us to do the live chat. But maybe what we can do for next week is we can maybe pull a couple of the comments and give some shout outs. But the service is really bad, and I really apologize that we can't give any shout outs during the live chat, but we're going to work on it. And again, just thank you guys so much. Our apologies again for our guests, but we got somebody next week that will make up for it.
Stay tuned, guys.
Yes. So thank you guys for watching AfterBuzz TV for Power. Season 5, Episode 2, Damage Control. We are out. We will see you guys next week. Thank you.
Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.